Hey Bev, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Where are you?
I'm in a coffee shop because I have a client meeting in like an hour and a half.
Oh, right.
So I figured I would just go. It's like a 45-minute bike ride from my house. So I was just like, I have to get to there so I can like sit, buy a coffee, like be settled for
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my
yeah.
9:30 so then I can
Okay.
make it to my 11 without like taking my hairs out of my head.
The best
That's
way
kind
to
of
be.
exactly. I was just like baby steps, right? And
You're looking gorgeous. Very jealous now I am.
today I dressed up. No, I just like wore clothes and put on jewelry.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference. I find you just like look like you've arrived somewhere,
And
looking a little bit better. How was your
I,
weekend?
actually, my weekend was good. Yes, it was good. Done lots of bits. Lots of reading. Lots of just
I mean, sweetie.
relaxing. So it was all good. So, my darling, how have you been this week?
Week has been okay. It's been like, I guess it feels forever that I talked to you because I talked to you Monday, right? So it's been okay. It's been like, is the noise too annoying?
Hang on a minute. Alexa, stop. Be very careful what I say.
Look at Amazon listening to the both of us.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right
Talking
there.
our next big idea. Fucker. So it was okay. Like I think I had some good progress on some of the conversations I'm having with a bank. So it's starting to appear to. I never want to like sort of jinx that, but I also want to be positive because I've had this happen. Like I think I told you like last year, like where I spent months getting a project off the ground and then COVID started and then everything sort of went back.
Yeah.
So it's been good and bad. Like I found out that it's really unfair. Like that's something else, like which is a theme that I think it's sort of happening. And I'm going to share with you if you're open to it. I was going to suggest that one of our sessions or I pay you for an extra session because I wanted you to hear me. I recorded me talking to two of the senior executives about the issue.
Okay.
So I figured if you listen to it, that you might draw out some messages because I'm in it, right? I'm talking
that's
in the moment with the client. So as much as I see some starting resemblance of like, oh, here's a theme, I think with a different, fresh set of eyes, you might be able to pick out some messages that then we be able to work through together better. And you might be able to see like things about how I'm speaking or how I'm messaging this that could improve. So anyways, I think it's like, it would take our coaching and I'm happy to pay for another. Let's do this.
No, that's all right. Let's do that. Let's get that done this year. So that, because it's about clarifying that message so that when you are talking to people, whoever they are and wherever they are, that message is very clear in your head so it doesn't deviate in any way.
Exactly. And I'm starting to see some commonality. And I think drawing out some of those key points is like, it gives you an insight into the way I thought about it is that it would give you an insight into the ideal client because I'm talking to the ideal client.
Yeah.
So you really get a good chance of hearing how they speak and what they say.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the things that I thought about. So
one of the things that you sent me or I read is one line that really resonated with me when you talk about humanity into technology.
What is it?
That's I can't remember. Yeah, it was something I sent you or you sent me, and I think it's about our session with the team. You said about putting humanity into technology. For me, that really resonated, and for me, that's a key statement in what you do.
Yeah, I've been really well. You gave me those sentences. We had that like sort of deeper conversation, and I've just been sort of digesting a lot of what you said and trying to make sense of it and say, okay, what does this really mean? How do I really convey this message? And like, what does it look like? So another thing I was going to suggest is that I don't know if the team is, so what I think I need to do is I was going to say, we have our meeting. We were supposed to do the team session on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here wondering if they're ready for it and thinking they need to have a little bit more. Here's what I'm afraid of. Let me tell you what my concerns are and my considerations are. So I spoke to Beatrice, my co-founder, and I spoke to two people, my like sort of leadership team, and they all agree and said it's amazing an idea. Their one fear was, is it going to make our people, well, their one fear was that people's English spoken when they're feeling like there's an important person in the room, like how much are they going to interact, how much versus they're going to internalize and like interact with you. Cause I'm sitting here thinking, how do I make this as interactive and amazing as possible? But how do I give them also the license to come prepared if we're going to ask them for things so they can get over their almost like their English fear of saying that particular sentence or bringing them their prep work ahead of time. Like, I don't know how to do this. And what I was also thinking is maybe instead of doing it with a whole team, maybe a starting point would be to do it with my core team.
To be fair, I thought it would be the core team.
Okay.
This isn't the stage where you pull everybody in because
amazing.
You know, the core team need to be the people that are all going, yes, this is how we want to move forward. And then it's down to the core team to be then pushing that out and how they work with the people that they work with, because you know, they understand and better know the people they're working with, but it's your core team that really need to be getting on board at this stage and understanding where it's moving forward so that they can put their ideas forward about how to then work with their teams. And you're absolutely right. I work with a lot of people who really struggle with that English as a second language.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So yeah, no, now is not the time for everybody, but
I think they struggle more on the communication side. Like they can read, they can consume, but it's just like in order to like have an interesting conversation with you, it's like how. Yeah.
I think it would be too much for them at this stage because nothing's really sort of settled. It's still a bit sort of up in the air.
And I think it might just bring more confusion, which is what I was actually super afraid of when I was.
No. I know. I assumed it would just be the core team, not
amazing
the whole lot. So yeah.
Okay. So then that sort of aligns that. In order to do that, what do we need to do in advance, and how are you thinking about this? So what do we need to come with?
Yeah. I sent you that thing with sort of the topics we would cover. Let me find it. Where did I put it? Do I put anything these days on the computer? Because what we just need to go through is to have a general discussion around how they see where Tail is at the moment, and a general discussion around where they see it going forward. Then how that aligns with the message, like those sort of key pillars that we picked out. That let me have a look here. I've got it here somewhere. I've got to get better organised with my online filing.
Okay, it's taken me, my team, my co-founder, and somebody else days to try to sort out our drive.
Yeah, that's why I need. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a VA at some point. Yeah, but I think the theory is and I'll put it forward again in a more outlined way. But in my head, I'm thinking, well, let's just see where everybody feels Tail is at the moment. Let's have a think about and a chat around that whole thing around the message and some of the stuff that you and I have come up with and how they feel about that. And then I think it's a general discussion around how Tail moves forward and monetizes some of the expertise it has and pulls it together. So you're not only relying on outside contracts, but you also have your own ways of generating income from within Tail and the expertise that's within Tail.
So the ideas of like more around the seminars and those kinds of ideas of becoming more becoming more essential thing. Is that what it is?
So you're taking the expertise out to other people rather than constantly sort of trying to get those contracts from large companies that already have an agenda in place anyway, and you're trying to fit into that. That's one level of monetization. But there's also that other side around, actually, we know our stuff. We could do a seminar on this. You know, we could invite people
or we know
in.
the community. We can bring them together and
absolutely. You could create your own community. You can then it's about people coming to you directly and go, well, we need to do that work within our business. How can we do that? So I think the issue really is around how your key staff see that moving forward, and who would want to do what and whose expertise works best. Because then when you've got that, they can take it to their teams and start pulling it together, because then the core team are all singing from the same hymn sheet, if you like, and they're looking for those opportunities or creating those opportunities to actually get out there. And equally then it's about finding those speaking opportunities, even though they're online, that are paying for your expertise.
Okay. So it would be kind of like helping them understand and us debunk all this whole like Bianca brand, Tails brand.
Yeah.
How do they come together and what pillars?
Yeah.
And how do we sort of address that moving forward?
Yeah.
And
it's a bit like a boy band where you have the one lead singer, and at some point, you know, you have to go, actually, there's a band with them and they belong to the general sort of brand idea. But equally then, you know, you do have the person who is the spokesperson, and you in yourself have your own brand as a speaker. In exactly the same way that if some of your team were asked to go and speak about something slightly different, about like the video, putting it together, the technical stuff.
Yeah, they could easily be talking about that and giving people an understanding of how that's made and
absolutely,
what is like
absolutely.
They become their own leaders in that sense.
Yeah,
I always said that and agree with this.
Yeah, so it really is bringing it into a holistic, more of a holistic view in terms of everybody is a part of making Tail the success and moving towards the same vision with that brand becoming really, really strong. And then people are coming to you because you've got, the moment they come to you, I think, because you speak well and you know your stuff.
Yeah.
What you need to do is people come to you, go, Bianca, you need to come and work with me and make this work for us. You need to be coming in, you know, and they're paying what you're worth. Yeah.
And we're effectively saying we need them to say that to Tail.
Yes, absolutely. Tail comes in and you all have your own level of expertise, which are all equal in their own level of expertise. They just be doing different things. And it is a fact of life that if you go and speak because you are such a good speaker, you are going to be paid more bucks than if somebody else goes. And that is just the way it is. It doesn't make you any more important or less. It's just that that's the way Tail works, because that is your expertise. But equally, your expertise is doing the work, understanding the work, creating the change.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I think that's about how we now move. You've got a sort of what I call an almost set jelly. Where you're going, that's really wobbly. I'm all images. The core team will set the jelly, so it'll be nice and firm, in a great shape. Yeah, I know. It's the way I see the world. So yeah, that's what we're working towards. Yeah,
with pink headphones, pink hair, pink shirt, a pink background, telling me about jelly is just too good.
So so that's where we're going to move towards, because my aim, hopefully, is that by the time you hit the new year, Tail, the whole team are ready.
Ready for
moving forward and making money and being famous and taking over the world and creating change where it's needed and bringing humanity into new technologies and old technologies. So it is able to change the world. It's all about changing the world. The whole new year is going to be about changing the world.
I agree. It clearly needs change. Yeah. It's clearly messy. Yeah. Okay. So that gets me a better understanding of our Wednesday together.
Yeah.
What do we need to prep? Will you, is there particular questions we should have thought it through? Like, is there anything I need to ask them to prep?
Do you know what? I would say nothing, because you want them to come at you raw.
Yeah.
And I can lead the questions and open them up so people can actually really have a say. The trouble is, in this sort of exercise, I found people go away and prep, and they prep what they think you want them to say or they think they should be saying. Whereas at this stage, we just want it raw. We just want to know exactly where people are thinking, where they are with it all, you know, what their sort of ideas and views are. And then after that, we do a bit more prepping around, okay, the next session is around go away and have a look at that and see how it would work and all the rest of it. But I think at this stage, it really is about bringing your core team together and going, right, let's see how this all works.
What are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or how are you feeling, or what are you thinking of it?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Because I've been in this journey for longer. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of bringing them back.
Yeah.
Cool. That clarifies me on that one.
Okay.
I feel good about it. My question to you now is, I read your email about what's new in your next year and how some of the things you're expecting or hoping to do for your clients. So this is connected to me wanting a quote from you. But before asking you about a quote or a project, I kind of want to understand what you want to do. I know you're my coach, but I'm reverting the question.
I hate it when people do that. Okay, for me next year.
Just because otherwise I'm going to be pitching, like, here's where I'm at. I don't want to pitch you on something that it's totally unaligned with what you want to do.
Well, I agree with you. That's why when you first mentioned a quote, it was like I'm not sure what you wanted from me. So if I tell you where I'm going next year in terms of my head, I've spent a lot of time doing lots of bits of coaching and online do-it-yourself coaching. And I don't want to be there anymore necessarily. What I want to do now is concentrate on clients who want to speak and grow their business digitally, communication, all of that sort of stuff. But I want to get back to speaking. So half of that is because I have done none this year. So, my new year, I'm thinking, right, I want to get back into speaking. I want to get back out there. I want to really get deep in this storytelling and why it's needed within business and become that sort of authority and expert in how a business can use a story to grow and to maintain its brand and all the rest of it. And then I will have my clients who it will be one-to-one coaching with some group coaching. And that's around really what the client needs in terms of being able to get out there and digitally communicate with their audience, because it's still going to be digital next year. It's going to be at least another year before.
Or at least a mix, if nothing else.
Yeah. So that sort of thing, working with corporates around how they're building their stories in. And working with my clients to ensure that they know what they're saying, who they're saying it to. And again, helping them find speaking opportunities and putting that together. And then my 2 events. So that's where I am next year. I really want to.
That's what you want to do. That's your manifesting. That's where you're going to get to.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Because
no worries.
So I still see, so as I'm planning my next year, obviously I look at my team of people that are my core help. My core capacity, their capacity creation on one side, their talent development in another side. Right? They're different things.
Yeah, of course.
So I obviously see a very, how do I word this? Here's the dream project I'm trying to get. Let me just explain it to you.
Just
blank,
put it out there.
And then we can sort of define it together.
Yeah.
But because I see there's empathy here, there's a natural connection here, there's energy here, at least from my side. So I would like to continue to be coached by you.
Okay.
And I want to figure it out what that looks like. And I want to align that with something you've taught me, that I'm not responsible for people on its fullness, that it has to be sort of something that is mutually beneficial. So which is why I'm trying to tie to my work.
Yeah.
So one area that I see myself that I would like to get an indication for a quote and what kind of work it would look like based on what you just described is I don't have time, physical time, to be actively, as an example, I've put it in my board that I'm supposed to apply for those speaking jobs that you send.
No time.
I'm not applied to shit.
No. Okay.
Because that requires me sitting down, reading the brief of the event, thinking about how does the brief of the event tie up to my pillars and coming up storyline, and then prepping and doing all that stuff. So based on what you just said about helping your clients speak more and do more, I can see a clear retainer monthly or goal driven, something that would make both sense financially, as well as, can you hear me? I just don't want to be screaming.
No, I can hear you. No, I can hear you.
Sorry, I would have been in my client's office, but I just don't know if they have a room that I can be. So I can see that need, desire, help to be something that is an active, and whether it starts with like a big brainstorming session of like, okay, I want to do a TED talk, I want to do this, I want to do this. So like, what are our goals?
That's right.
How do we work towards, okay, we have 2 to 3 talks that we develop, and we apply with those 2 to 3 talks to these channels, and you help me figure it out. Okay, no, Bianca, this one is better for this channel, because in the end of the day, you understand the speaking.
That's right.
And I'm a proof point to other people that you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm a bit effectively. So I see that one is Bianca, the speaker, with a better message, with proper. How do we do that? So I would like you to, and you don't need to answer to me right now.
No. That's exactly how I work with clients, and certainly come the new year, we would have that one session to start with around where you wanted to be, what it is you wanted to do, because then we have to begin looking at your signature speeches. We would have to start looking at where those audiences are. We'd have to start getting your media pack put together so it doesn't take so long to apply for speaking opportunities. It's about spreading your word so people come to you more often than not, and things like that. And that, I do that a lot. And I do that usually, on a 6-month thing where we just dive in and we get what I call the mechanics sorted. Now, for you, I don't need to teach you how to speak. You know how to speak.
You can help me though.
I can help you. I can help you with language. I can help you with, in terms of, a lot of sort of technicality stuff.
You can help me. I can develop. I've never been trained.
I've
never been trained. I've never been trained, Bev.
Yeah, well, then I will help you, and I will develop you how to own a room, and how to work a stage, and how to understand all of that going on.
I just think it's breathing. Like all I've done is out of passion and raw talent.
And that's perfect, but you need to, because of your health as well, you need to understand some of the technicalities around breathing, around how you don't use up so much energy on a stage, but still show that energy. You have to learn how to still be, but contain it within so you don't walk off and go, oh, I'm exhausted now because you've given too much of yourself.
But I live for that though.
Yeah, I know.
I live for that.
And that's great, but from a health point of view, there are ways of doing that whilst maintaining your own sort of what I call control over your energies, and breathing, and how to do that properly, and how to get a message, how to talk to the back of a room, because so many people only talk to the front of a room, and things like that. So that's fine, we can do that. And that would be part of a monthly ongoing coaching until a point where you either said to me, I think I've got it all now, that's fine, it's month by month, or we say, right, okay, let's say 6 months, hard intensive. Well, some people just come to me for a day. We do a whole day on Zoom and cover almost everything from a technical point of view you need. Personally, I think if you went on the monthly coaching, you'd be better off the one-to-one monthly at this stage, because we can really get everything set up and ready for you to go as a speaker.
Okay, great. So I would like to figure it out what your quote, as I'm planning my financial year for 2021.
Well, that's £97 a month come January. So I don't know how that transfers, but it's £97 a month for that pure one-to-one. So every client that is in there, literally I'm working with you on your goals. But occasionally a group thing comes in, because some people will go, well, I don't know how to do a live stream using 5 different cameras, and it's easier to do a group thing than the one-to-one, but that just comes up. So I would say to you, the £97 a month one-to-one coaching with me, where we dig deep and go, right, where are we moving forward for you as a speaker? Okay,
great. So let's do that. So you can count on me for your first 6 months of next year.
Yeah, no worries.
So that's something you can count on me for.
Yeah.
I know it's important when we work for ourselves. It's nice to know. I'm in that phase. I'm in that phase right now of like, okay, I have a few clients, maybe. So I was like, how do I bring them down to a yes?
Yeah. Oh, that lovely one.
You're like, come on.
You tell them a story.
Yeah, you're like, this needs to decide, and I don't work. Banks are the worst. They don't care. Yeah. Okay. The second part, which is what I wanted a quote for, is completely different, but insanely aligned.
Okay.
So here's my dream project that I'm going to get because I'm manifesting it.
Yes.
So I'm going to be the host of a podcast.
Yeah.
Called probably Our Voices. I think it's going to be called Our Voices.
Yeah.
And it's to give D&I, diversity and inclusion, voices in data and analytics. So I'm going to be telling, one of the key main stories around it is that we will have an AI bank, but it will be, all the tasks eventually will be done by robots, but controlled by humans.
Yeah.
Like that's the bigger vision for HSBC.
Yeah.
And I feel this urge and this opportunity that I could be the voice of the humans that are left.
Perfect. Yes.
That shepherd the humans that exist towards the humans that will evolve and stay. And I see this, and this is a global project.
Have you heard my TED talk on exactly that?
No, I have not.
I will send you the link. I did a TED talk around I'm not a robot yet. Why humans speaking was so important.
That's amazing. So it's so like it's meant to be. Like I believe that these things are meant to be.
Absolutely.
Like all the shit that I've been through, us going to Belarus out of all places, like shit's meant to be. Shit's meant to be. So it's like it's meant to be. So it's gonna happen. It's meant to be. I probably will find out this Thursday. But what I want to do is the following. So the podcast goes. There's a few things. One, there might be an opportunity here for you to coach me on particularly how I speak and come across on the podcast. Because if I'm the host, I can make or break a show.
Yeah.
100%. So there's that.
Yeah.
That it could be the first iteration of public speaking, that it's on just the medium of the podcast, or if it's something like a more than a 97 a month, because then we cover criticism on the podcast, because I want to coach. Like I want somebody that listens to it and goes, shit, change it. Here's the tone. Here's the, like, I need help.
Yeah.
Like I can't just drink my own Kool-Aid.
No, we can do that.
That's one thing. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, so I'm going to be interviewing these women.
Yeah.
That are in data.
Yeah.
And analytics. They're shit storytellers. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't know how to tell the story.
No, I get it.
So what I want to sell and price in is a pocket.
Yeah.
Coaching therapist storytelling session. And I call it therapist because I think to get somebody to tell their story, you pretty much have to care to listen.
You do. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think my work is almost like therapy. So what I was thinking is, I need somebody who, so this is me thinking. I was like, I need to spend the time thinking about who the next person is going to be interviewed. I'm going to need to be doing a lot of things. I can do coaching when I'm recording with the person and helping them, but this would be fundamentally better if they had a coach before they came to me.
Yeah.
So if Bev could be my partner, and Bev does an hour and a half max coaching session with that woman.
Yeah.
One is an opportunity for you to meet effectively 52 women in powerful positions in banks.
Yeah.
Globally, which I think is helpful. But you would get paid, obviously. Like I want this to be a money generating thing for you, that you know every week you make X making this.
Yes.
But I want to offer it as my service. I want to offer it as part of the tail service.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I want to be like, because I think that if that person if you're my coach, you get what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to hire a copywriter to take some of our work into actual massive amounts of copy posts and stuff, because I know you don't do that. So if I have that person, Julia, writing the copywriting, she's a native English speaker. You're a native English speaker. we're going to be talking to women all around the world. My team is not native English. So I was like, how do I get them to do a coach? And I cannot spend, like, with this project at HSBC, I do like a 30-minute call, and then we do an hour recording where I spend another 20 minutes coaching them and then 30 minutes maybe recording.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking is if here's what is going to happen. In the beginning of the year, next year, hopefully this year, I will make the list of what questions. So we're going to make a script. And that's some of the things that I will eventually want to bounce off of you. But I will make a script of what we cover in this interview, in this podcast.
Yeah.
So we will have a standard set of key messages that we want to get out of every woman interviewing. But I still want them to sound different because they're different people.
Yes, I know it. Yeah, I get where you're going.
You get what I'm going? I still want their uniqueness to come about. And I want them to just get a little bit better at, because here's the thing. In video, if they're nice or pretty, have a presence, you get away with murder a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Because you have other elements. On audio, if you fucking sound boring and your story takes a whole like trip around the world to get to a point, you lose the audience.
Different medium.
Exactly. So the fact that I could be the best host in the world, if the way they communicate in their stories are always boring, nobody's going to want to listen.
But they're only boring.
I need to find a way.
Okay. The way I work when I've done this with women I work with is it's a lot of research to be done in the first hand because women do not realize they have stories. So I tend to do some research into them and previous stuff and find as much as I can, because in a way. So
can we automate that by saying they feel out a particular form or do something, because that's part of the process. And like, I could find a way. I'm just thinking of process. I can find a way where my team administers like, okay, here's the list of people that are going to be interviewed in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
They have to fill out this form. This form has to make it to Bev 2 weeks before their coaching call. Yeah. Here's the times that Bev is available for the coaching call. We book the coaching. We book the coaching calls. They show up. You do your magic. We have a package story. I get those for the show notes to know that if they deviate, wait a minute, Bev found this nugget story.
That's it. And it's the nugget stories. Yeah, it's the nugget stories that brings out their excitement. And I think that's what some people pull down on.
But they
don't find the bits where their eyes light up and they go, oh yeah. So my job, I see within this, is to talk to them beforehand, pull out their stories that they don't realize they've got, in order to tell them, actually, that's an awesome story. And that's what. And the other thing, it's about linking their life, because so many women, they get to a point they forget the route they took. And it's about linking all that together, because that's the interesting bit.
Yeah.
Often that's the interesting bit. And then.
And to me, like, that is like what gets me goosebumps, of being like, this would be such transformational work. Like you and I both love about giving people a voice.
Yes.
This is why I want to do this. And I was like, I need to work with somebody that has the same passion.
Yeah.
And like can help them understand their own story. And then like, it's a perfect segue if they want to continue to work with you. Like and I'm sure you're going to have some of them that are going to be like, wow, I want to, and like, then you can continue to work with them.
Yeah. But it's great just to get their voices into that podcast and we have to pull their magic out of them. So the podcast becomes magic, because, it's got to stand out above the noise. So, and equally then, once we know those little nuggets, the final script is and then what you're able to do is if they're not answering it, if they're not saying it, you've got it there to go, hang on
a minute. I heard a story about you.
How did that fit in?
That's exactly what I need to be able to do instead of the traditional way podcasts work today. Like I've been doing a lot of my prep, right? So I've been listening to a lot of these around data and identity and around this, or like analytics. First of all, they fall under two categories, Bev. They're either so wishy-washy that it's about some, like, it would be the equivalent of me telling my car accident story just to try to get an emotional connection.
Yes.
Or my stroke. Yeah. They go towards that extreme of like, oh, I've been abused, or this has happened, or that had happened.
Which is why they're good at data.
which is totally valid.
Yeah.
But it's not, it will lose so much of the audience, or they go totally extreme technical.
Yes.
And they tell the stories about their accolades.
Yes.
And their degrees.
Yeah.
And it's just like, nobody cares.
No, that's the thing. You're putting the humanity back into their data and technology.
And that's why I'm so excited about this project.
Yes! We're showing the world that there is humanity in all of that.
And I get a license to do it.
Yeah.
Like, this would be amazing. And I was like, if I'm doing this, I need an official copywriter, which is, by the way, if you know any other ones, I need to hire somebody as at least a freelancer.
But do you want someone who speaks lots of languages? Who has worked in Copenhagen and is now in the States, and has worked Asia and Europe and all over?
That sounds like a great human.
She's awesome. She took up athletics at 50. I listened to her now and I'm like, oh my God. But I'll put you in touch. She may not be the right, because again, it's about, I often say with copywriting, they have to be able to write in the same personality as the business. And
yeah, but I'm also doing work with somebody to try to get the tone of voice and the branding better aligned, so it could be a Bible for a copywriter.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that work separately. Okay. But this is what I wanted to do. So I wanted to figure it out. It's like, if I could have Bev as my coach, manifesting.
Well, that's a given. Right, you've got Bev as your coach.
But I'm manifesting here, right? So I'm like, and I'm not just manifesting some shit. I'm actually like hunting after the work, so it happens.
Good.
But they're really interested, because these women, it would be such a double benefit. Like, they would have a boost in their confidence. They would have your energy. They would have my energy in the podcast. Yeah. And then they would have a tangible piece of something for them to then show and share to the world.
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect.
So I would need to figure it out. What is your monthly rate, assuming you'd meet 4 women a month?
This sort of project, what I'd say to you is for every session that I do with them, up to an hour and a half, say 2 hours. It's never normally that long, but it gives plenty of time.
And then also it covers some of your work of summarizing this, so you can give this back to me. Absolutely. So I can consume that.
Yeah. That's right. I would be putting probably a good £800 per session on it.
Okay.
And that way then, and it's not about whether I have 4 a month or anything. It's about when you've got if they want to take that up, that it's there. So you put that within your coach. Well, some people are going to go to you, I don't need that, and you're going to have to persuade them they do. So I
was kind of thinking of making it mandatory.
Yeah.
I was saying,
if it's part of the price, they might as well.
Like, I kind of wanted to make it mandatory that this is how I'm trying to price it to HSBC, to say, here's the monthly fee for the coaching service. That is somebody that I work with, that I'm bringing on to this project.
Okay.
So that's kind of what, and you can think about it and come back to me. I just probably need an answer before Wednesday, if possible.
Well, to be fair, for me, I would say £800. Put that in as that element, because then that will cover the hour and a half I probably spend with them on a one-to-one, plus some of the and then the few hours it would take me just to put together those sort of scripts and ideas and stories that come out of them to send to you. So let's do it that way. Let's see how your first series works, if you like. And then we can come back together and go, okay, what worked, what didn't work. We can reflect on that and everything else. But for me, 800 is a fair price, that I can put in, knowing that sometimes it will take longer and sometimes it won't. It depends on the person, depends on a lot of things.
So then if I'm planning on 4 a month, I'm multiplying that by 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I can afford that at HSBC, but I will try.
I'm open at this stage, because I love working with you and I love the idea of this project. I am open to negotiation on that price for the first series.
HSBC just negotiates me. So I have to provide them. So the way I do it is I'm pretty transparent with them. So I go and show to them like, hey, I'm not trying to like,
do you want me to put, dry? I'll put together an outline of what those sessions would look like, what the person would get out of them, not only for the interview eventually, but actually just for them on a personal level within their business.
In their career.
Yeah. So if I put that together as an overview, that would, in terms of how corporate sees it, not the nice fuzzy people I sometimes work with, in terms of production and all the rest of it.
Help me justify, because the way I do it is very much like because I have a decent relationship with them, but just because the way they work, I literally go, okay, I expect to spend 2 days a week or 2.5 days a week of Bianca's time, heavily discounted, because I'm like, literally for me to speak for an hour, I get paid 12.5 grand. So I was like, here's how much you're getting me at a discount. And then I'm like, here's the editor cost, here's the copywriter cost, so like I literally show it to them, and I show it to them that I'm at like whatever, like, because I really just I feel like this could be bigger than life if done properly. And I need to grab the attention of the global people and fucking have a massive impact. Which I think it has to be the combination of like the people I bring around this and how that person experiences this, as well as obviously the output. So I obviously have to hire a math person to like bombard this all over social media. So this is what I'm doing. So if you can think about that. And then what I'm going to do effectively is I'm going to give them this price. Thursday, I go over to them with this price and say to them, here's what it would be like on a monthly basis, assuming 4 episodes a month. And then they're going to hopefully say yes. They likely will bargain.
It's all about what value they're going to get out of it at the end of the day, isn't it? And that's what they're going to pay for, the value they're going to get out of it. And that's huge. That's global visibility. Yeah, I know, but yes, I will put that together.
It's a ninja it's a work in progress here. Like, it's a damn work in progress.
Well, you keep at it.
To get them to see value.
Yeah.
They look at it and go, well, I can hire. This is how they look at it, Bev. They want to solve one of the largest issues of workforce in the next decade, which is gender diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to solve it in one of the most important areas of the bank, which is data and analytics. But then they look at it and go, well, I can hire a company to do a podcast for like 1/5 of that. And I'm like, and it will be shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's my follow-up. But I have to live somewhere in that line.
I know.
Like, it will be shit. Like, you can just understand it will be shit. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah. That's
You'll do it. You'll be fine. Okay, so Wednesday we're going to talk with your core team.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to pull a lot of the stuff we've talked about together and get some ideas from them, so that by the end of Wednesday, the idea is that we have an overview of how the future looks and where people fit within that, and we can start putting that together. It won't be complete, but it'll be another step forward. I will put an overview to you with that quote before Wednesday around what it would look like from my end and what I do. You're down for the £97 in the new year, so we'll just keep doing this until the new year, and we'll start to look at where you want to be, where your speaking needs to be, and all the rest of that. So we'll start putting a strategy together, as I call it, and looking at the things you don't have that you need to think about getting together to make applying a lot easier when you want to speak.
Yeah, and then I can also probably is worth doing one session with Julia, who is will be working with me on copywriting. So she'll be actually writing up the website as an example. So I see, because I know you don't do that manual.
No. I'm not a copywriter, and I never claim to be, but it's useful to work with one in terms of.
But I want to. I don't want to be working with these people I'm going through her process and I'm going through your process, which obviously for me, I'm always going through everybody else's process. So I'm trying to fucking pull it together. But at one point, probably in the end of the year or beginning of next year, I might pull you two for one.
Yeah, it has to blend together.
For one session together, so we can align and say, okay, because she wants to get out sort of the core themes, and then we can just have. And I also think it would be she's a beautiful human. So I think it would just be a fun. Conversation where we can say, okay, if she's the one writing the website and I'm trying to be at these speaking engagements, and Bev thinks teaches these themes. Her and I have narrowed down, have brought these themes down to like a granular level.
Yes.
And we look at all of this together. So our work is, so I feel like you're both advancing.
Yeah.
You're both helping me advance.
Absolutely.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's, I think that's where I think sometimes outside help becomes confusing when you're in a startup on your own, when you don't tie those pieces together at some point.
Yeah. And often you can't see yourself in a process, especially when you're running the business. And so it is about
you.
Yeah, are we aligning with what you want as opposed to what we think you should have? So, yeah.
No, yeah. It's just probably because she'll be writing the key, like she'll be rewriting my bio, she'll be rewriting all these things. So like I want to run them by you as my coach, who's helping me use the words she's coming up with. How do they get spoken? Because I think that's how I play in the best of your abilities. And then I think our coaching can help me make sure I'm staying true to that, especially in mediums like the podcast. Or a speaking engagement if we decide that those are the key goals for next year.
No, absolutely. You're on the right path. You are going to be sensational next year. You and Tail take over the world and make a change.
I'm trying, Bev. I'm really
doing it. You're not trying, you're doing it. You have to recognize that in yourself. You are doing it. Otherwise, you'd still be at home going, I must email Bev. But you haven't. You've done it.
Yeah, and I'm starting to put a team together and things are starting to manifest. And it's like, so I feel like I just need to get this.
And you must have more faith in yourself. You must. Never use the word hopefully, because the universe goes, oh, well, we're not sure. So even if it doesn't feel right, use that language as I am going to. It is going to happen.
It is going to happen. This podcast series is going to happen. These 2 projects are going to happen. I know for sure. And I just want to bring the perfect team together so we execute them and start moving change, and people go, wow, that's fundamentally different. So then we can raise the bar on price eventually and make sure everybody's getting paid for the appropriate work we're doing. And like, it would be amazing. Like I was just thinking, I was like, how amazing would it be that like Beth gets to speak on her own, and then like she gets a stable like income from this, and like that would be super
equally
cool.
You can monetize the podcast of the series. You're able to monetize that. You get enough people behind it, you can make a lot of money just from the podcast itself, and you don't have to do anything else. So that's what you're looking at. You're going to have leverage from what I've already got. Repurposing this content.
And I think that's kind of what I would want to work with you on like the strategy of how do we leverage the things that we're doing to get more speaking engagements, and like how do we get to the masses, right? Like how do we get this message, perhaps doing things like not the traditional, like, because I have a speaking agent, but like not the traditional tech speak that a massive conference of identity invites me to talk. Like I really want to be Oprah media. Like what are the other mediums that I need to go towards?
Absolutely. And that's why we'll need to put together a really good speaker reel.
Okay.
That shows your personality and the way you speak, and that will get you the work. Because sometimes people don't know what they don't know. I have often gone to a conference, I'd love to speak there, but my theme isn't there. And I'll go in and go, actually, this is about all of you. I think that's what I did with Belarus, because I went, all these people in startups and everything else, you need someone to be talking to them about how they talk and how they speak in public. Sometimes you have to tell them, you have to tell them what they need, because it doesn't occur to them. So making Tail more visible means you're able to spread that message around, actually, what you think you need is not what you need.
Oh, yeah.
And then working with some of the global networks like Women in Tech globally, I think would be something Tail should be a part of it. It's just, so as well as social media, there are some global networks that just align with everything you do that would be worth being a part of, that also get stuff fed into that and raises your visibility. And they're the ones that put on the big global conferences. So.
I'm currently pitching 2 podcasts for HSBC. One is about data and D&I. The other one's about women in STEM. and particularly in technology.
Absolutely.
It kind of just happened.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen. I've done a lot of work to get me here.
Yeah.
And it's now manifesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more visible you are, the more people are going to go, oh, that's Bianca, that's Tail. They do this work slightly differently, and that's what we want to do. Because it will hit them all sooner or later that they've got to do it differently. So I'm going to finish early with you today so that you can go and breathe and be ready for your client. Right. I've got some work to do. You're quite lucky. You didn't have a lot to do this week.
I didn't. You didn't give me that much homework. I did think about it a lot, which is why I sent you my 2 thought sheets, because I was like, my branding. And I think I realized that branding, I was like, okay, I can work with Bev on this on coaching, but then I need a copywriter to actually fucking
absolutely
bring this down to like a tangible deliverable. Otherwise it's going to be up here.
You're pulling it all together. And actually from the person I spoke to, however 4 weeks ago it was,
4 weeks ago,
to be absolutely fair, I thought was on the floor and you have difficulty picking it back up again and sitting there in that chair. You were in a very low place. You weren't in a great place. But to you now, you know, yes, emotionally you're not quite there yet, but actually you see a future now. I can see you seeing the way forward now.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. So it doesn't even matter if, you know, you trip over a few rocks on the way, you're moving forward. So that's what it needs for you at a personal level as much as you as a business.
Thank you, Bev. You've been part of that journey and I'm really grateful. And I hope that me saying to you, I want to work with you and I want to work with you more and bringing you things I want to do is the biggest demonstration I can have of that.
To be fair, I feel quite honored that you would do that. I really do. Because to be fair, you do have your pick. And I'm glad you picked the best. I keep telling myself that. I'll believe it.
I believe it.
Absolutely.
I believe if you help me pick up from the ground, you can help all these women. And like together we can be this like,
and that's my purpose.
Human. And amazing group of humans, because I have more than just girls on my team. That really bring these people a voice and the right to feel like they have a voice. And I hope this becomes larger than all of us.
Oh, absolutely. That for me is my purpose. You know, we all have to earn money, we all have to pay the rent and everything else, but my purpose is helping
people have their voice.
Exciting stuff. Okay then.
Yeah. So, think about it, and now you can vibe with me. It's Thursday. Yeah. Thursday we get an answer.
Wednesday we're meeting, and then I will now start my manifestation for you. I have my angel cards. I'll stick them up somewhere.
Yeah, I was like, bring it out. Bring it
out. Step up, trust in your destiny. You have a gift. That's yesterday's angel card up on the board. So
yeah.
That's my woo-woo.
Bring it all out. I'm excited. Right. And then I talk to you Wednesday.
Yeah, talk to you Wednesday. Bye, darling. Be good.
Bye. You too.